Hi, Miss Fuentes. So what we're gonna go over today is just a sensory diet for Isaiah. So here I just have a sensory diet template that I put down just like a daily schedule where Isaiah might have some issues that we discussed previously. So the first one I put is toileting because I think you mentioned that you wake up and you try to with Isaiah and you try to like get him to go to the bathroom. So once he's waken up and you get him to the bathroom, there are some sensory strategies that we can implement. And the first one that I put was covering the toilet seat with like an old blanket or towel that he likes. We know that he has some regular issues with certain textures and touching things. So, and the toilet seat might be cold and, hard. So maybe we could put some like old blanket or towel. And then using flushable wipes. So, because we also know he's very sensitive to certain touches, so maybe flushable wipes would be better for him than the tissue paper. And then I also put holding on to a weighted toy. Isaiah likes that kind of like weighted input. So maybe having him hold a weighted toy to maybe just relax him enough to go to the bathroom. The next one we're gonna go over is breakfast time. So I know you told me he like refuses to eat certain foods, a very limited diet, is very sensitive and will gag. So before breakfast time, we want to give him that like kind of tight, weighted input again. And we're going to give him 2 to 3 hugs right before breakfast to get him just like relaxed enough to maybe try some new foods. I also put down here using like a weighted bib. A weighted bib would also give that weighted input, sensory input that would relax him throughout the eating process. Get him to try possibly more foods. The next one is for grooming tasks because I know that he really struggles with haircuts and nail trimming. So if you do his haircuts for when he goes and gets a haircut, when you trim his nails, I suggest wearing a weighted vest for him because that gives that extra input that we talked about before. That kind of gives him, brings him to the right arousal level and he feels relaxed. I know haircuts especially were a big issue. Just get his like scalp stimulated and getting some input. Because of his like sensitivity to people touching his scalp maybe. Before his haircut, maybe giving him like a scalp massage just to get the head ready to be touched and cut by someone else. And then we have him going to preschool. So we can implement some things in the classroom. Maybe you can go talk to his preschool teacher. I put down like a move and sit cushion. This will just kind of keep him aroused and focused to do some activities in preschool. I know you said that he was maybe doing some self-stimulatory behaviors. This might help with that because it kind of replaces that input. And then also giving just breaks to do some like heavy moving activities. Like I put here wheelbarrow walks. His arousal levels maybe like a little bit down. Maybe he came back from recess and his arousal level's too high. So maybe we should do like a little heavier activity to get him down enough to focus in the classroom. So we also have lunchtime. So again, I know he said that he refuses to eat certain food. Maybe we can do an oral massage. So like massaging the cheeks, maybe massaging the inside of the mouth to get it ready to maybe take on some new textures, putting some input in there, getting it ready. And then biting down really hard and releasing. So we can maybe like bite down and release. And that will also give some input in preparation to eat as well. And then also in the intervention I had you watch and sit in, we had a neck brush. They're pretty inexpensive. And you can roll that on Isaiah's cheeks, give it kisses, roll it in the mouth if he can withstand that. And that will also prep his mouth, some sensory input in preparation for eating some new textures. And the neck brush is textured so it can kind of desensitize him enough to continue with the occupation of eating. And here we have some napping ones. So I said taking a nap on his beanbag chair. I know you said that he really likes it. And it will also give him that deep pressure input that will help him take a nap. I also put rubbing lavender essential oils on his chest or maybe his back. This input, a relaxing input to help him relax enough, and he'll smell the lavender. Lavender is like known to also be something that relaxes people enough to participate in sleep. Then we have a snack time. So here, I know in the intervention I had you sit in, we did some deep pressure toweling for some proprioceptive input. to relax him enough to participate in eating. I also said a chewy toy before. Sometimes they're textured and, it gets the mouth warmed up and get some sensory input in there in preparation to eat. I also said playing with some textured foods. So you can get some rice and beans out, keep them in maybe like a little Tupperware and have him play in it beforehand could also be really great. Like, prepare him and feel out some textured foods. So if you're feeling it in his hands, it'll be better for when he tries certain textured foods that are similar to that. Play. So I know he has a hard time playing with others. So I want you to start forming play activities that Isaiah likes. Deep pressure input or rocking movement with others. So for example, you can have Isaiah swing with a friend, him playing with others. For dinner, just to get the gag reflex back and also get his mouth warmed up and ready to eat, I said blow bubbles. I also said another heavy work activity, his arousal level, where it needs to be like animal walks before the meal. Just bring him to the correct level and get him ready to eat. And then for bathing, I put a visor water blocker. It kind of goes around the head. You can kind of make your own if you'd like, or you can buy them. They kind of block the water to hit the face or the soap, and it leaves the head above to wash his hair. Because I know that he really struggles with like water sensation and like soap and like getting his hair washed. So doing this visor water blocker I think would be really helpful so he doesn't get anything in his face. And then also having waterproof toys in the bath. What I was thinking about this is that he really likes those musical toys, and there are some like musical toys you can have in the bath that are waterproof. That could be a relaxing auditory sensory input that is positive for him. And then for sleep, going to bed, I suggest tight clothing for that deep pressure input as well. Sleeping through the night, and then also sleeping with a weighted toy, maybe a preferred toy. These both will provide that deep pressure that will relax him and get his arousal levels down enough for him to sleep through the night.